Wanna talk? So let's talk. Yeah. Talk. You wanna talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk, you wanna.
Welcome back, my friends. It's Talk to Solomon time. My name is Stan Solomon. Co-hosting is my friend,
Chief Steve.
former Police Chief Steve Davis, and my other friend, I have more than two actually, Greg W. Howard. Greg, are you with us?
I am.
We're going to spend a good deal of time talking about the economy, but first, unquestionably, the video that I think says it all about who are the quote-unquote 47%. Who are the people that would vote for Barack Obama? Well, just watch, folks. You will watch along with probably 30 or 40 million others who have seen this.
Obama.
You got Obama phone?
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got Obama phone. He voted for me as president, you know. He gave us a phone.
He gave you a
Because of
phone?
war.
How did he give you a phone?
You sign up if you're on food stamps, you on Social Security, you got low income, you disability.
Okay, what's wrong with Romney again?
Romney, he sucks. Yeah. Obama.
You got Obama phone?
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got Obama phone. He voted for me as president, you know. He gave us a phone.
He gave you a
Because of
phone?
war.
How did he give you a phone?
You sign up if you're on food stamps, you on Social Security, you got low income, you disability.
Now, I've had people look at this and say this was put out by right-wing white folks that want to make black folks look bad because they picked one who was not sophisticated, not educated, and doesn't present well. And my response was that you have a point. I don't think it was done for that reason. But I don't think this woman is unique. I think there are millions of ladies like this with the same level of intellect, the same level of knowledge, the same level of education, the same level of sophistication. But that's my opinion. Let's go to Greg. Greg, your thoughts?
I'm sorry, I had to fill my wastebasket. Yeah, that may very well be. It's similar to what the left did, finding the one or two people at a Tea Party rally that could not, although they had the right intentions for being there, could not properly articulate why they were there. But in general, I agree. This is a prevalent mindset within a certain segment of society, and it is not a black or white thing. It is a lower class, lower intelligence, lower achieving mindset of, I'm going to get mine free. It goes back to the same as the Obama Cash lady very famously a couple of years ago when the radio station put out the call that if you come down here, you can get some free Obama Cash. There is always going to be a segment of society, and it is rapidly growing in America, that will come running forward for free stuff. Remember in 2008, Mailbox Man, or was it 2009? Mailbox Man, as he became known, who stood up, oh, thank you, Lord God Jesus, thank you, Lord. And he stood up there in the town hall with Obama saying, please don't make me go down and sign any forms, just put it all in my mailbox. This is an entitlement mentality that is dangerous, it is sick, and it is destructive of society. And it is destructive of the individual who falls into it.
Chief?
Well, Greg has some very good points there. I do, though, believe this is a black and white issue, because Barack Obama's policies are decimating the black community, but they are overwhelmingly supporting him, even though he's ruining their lives and their future for them and their families. Dr. Martin Luther King back in the 60s was fighting for equal rights, and especially for the black community. And down in Selma, Alabama in the 60s, when him and his followers were attacked by police dogs and water cannons and imprisoned over that, fighting for prosperity and personal liberty and freedom, because Dr. Martin Luther King was a Republican being fought against by Democrats who did all of that to the black community. And now today we have the black community being, like this woman here, which makes me very sad, is being re-imprisoned back in the black welfare plantation by Barack Obama and the Democrats. It's very sad.
Now, let me throw some numbers out, folks. And by the way, we do have a phone number. I don't mention it often. 866-808-0637. If you'd like to call at this moment, make a comment. We're certainly interested. The black community in America is approximately 35, 36 million people. That's the number. The Hispanic community in America is slightly larger now, by a couple percent. Maybe it's 40 million. Now, many people believe that because Barack Obama is getting 90+% of the black vote, and I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but more likely than not it will, that's a factor that Romney can't overcome. I would offer to you that there are, I think, 16 or 17 million Mormons in this country. 100% of them will be voting for Romney. 100% of them don't normally vote Republican. But 100% of them will be voting, or 99.9, will be voting for Romney. So it will mitigate a dramatic part of that overwhelming majority he shares and he enjoys in the black community. But let's go to a different set of numbers. And then maybe Greg can comment on these. It is said that Obamonomics, what has happened since Barack Obama took office and has gone unmitigated and has only gotten worse day by day, week by week, month by month, and year by year, has affected adversely the black community more than any other community. It is said that the black community has lost, you ready? 90% of its net worth since Barack Obama was elected President of the United States. No, since he took office as President of the United States. 90%. The black, quote-unquote, middle class has almost disappeared. Foreclosures, layoffs, bankruptcies have affected the black community percentage-wise more than any other community in America. Now I'm going to stop now and ask Greg to comment, as this is his area.
As a matter of fact, you are correct. Last week on Thursday night, as you know, I have my own show on Blog Talk Radio. I was privileged to have several distinguished guests on the show, including Reverend C.L. Bryant, Asia Reeves, and Wayne Dupree. And we spent a full 2 hours on how Barack Obama and his policies and the Democrat Party in general have been destroying the black family over the past 4 years and over the past 4 decades. And it is in fact, everything, Stan, you mentioned is in fact true. And Steve is exactly right when he mentions the system. It is a plantation system. They are held in the same conditions as slavery in many respects. All you have to do is come out and vote every 2 years, but in return you're given a substandard lifestyle. You're given substandard chances for achievement. You have no opportunities to advance and escape. You will be kept in prison and low expectations and nowhere to go, but Massa will feed you, Massa will give you a phone, and Massa will put a roof over your head, and Massa will make sure that you have no reason to try to escape. And don't you dare escape anyway, because those that do will be called Uncle Toms, treated very harshly in the public media, and scorned and ridiculed by everyone possible. It is a horrible system, and we spent 2 hours tearing it apart and showing by example how brutal it can be. And you cannot find a more staunch person to speak on this than Reverend C.L. Bryant, who put out the famous movie A Runaway Slave. And I urge you, if you haven't found a chance to see this movie, you've got to see it, because it drives a dagger through the heart of the myth of the Democrats being on the side of the blacks.
By the way, C.L. Bryant and I are good friends. We've been partners in business, and we've done a lot of things together. And the movie A Runaway Slave is playing here in Indianapolis, in Castleton, in the northeast part of Indianapolis. So again, I join Greg in urging you to go see it. Let's go the next step. There are many smart, successful, brilliant, educated black people in this country who don't agree with, go along with, or support this concept. But you would think there were none. you would think that the only blacks of any value, intellectually, spiritually, or any other way, are those who are on the left. And yet, from Walter Williams to Dr. Thomas Sowell to former Secretary of State, what's her name? Whose name is
Condoleezza Rice.
Condoleezza Rice, to C.L. Bryant, to Colonel Allen West, to Alvin Keyes, and we can go on and on. There is no question. The so-called intellects of the left, Maya Angelou. Now, this woman and a rock had a race, and the rock won, intellectually. And yet she's supposedly one of the great talents. It's absurd. She's an ex-prostitute who has stepped down and not up. Now, look, that people that have been prostitutes are human beings. God loves everyone. I'm not going there. I'm simply saying the heroes like, what's his name? I can't think of names tonight. Sharpton, Al Sharpton. He's supposedly a leader. Al Sharpton is a phony. He's a fraud. He's not even a real pastor. And yet no one will talk about it. He lost a lawsuit, has never paid it because he slandered police officers, and he ignores it, wears his $3,000 suits, and lives the high life. Jesse Jackson is nothing but a shakedown artist. Steve.
No, that's very good. You're on a roll there, and I was just really into hearing what you said. So one thing that Greg said I think is critically important. He said that this system is destroying black families, and that's really where the bottom line is. Welfare does not help black families. It destroys marriages. It forces mothers to live as single moms and send their kids to underprivileged schools and also to live in roach-infested buildings. It keeps them on that substandard living environment. Welfare does not help them. It only hurts them. It destroys black families.
All right, and we should go and talk about the Democrats' platform is more abortions, more homosexuality, more godlessness, less pride in America, less quality when it comes to education because they're run by the teachers' unions. It's outrageous. The Ku Klux Klan, if it were in charge of the world, could not do more to harm black Americans than what liberal Democrats have done.
But let's remember that the Ku Klux Klan was started by the Democrats.
Well, of course, and it's still run by Democrats. Greg.
Well, actually, the Ku Klux Klan is basically out of business. The Ku Klux Klan cannot kill as many people as are being killed in the inner cities by black violence. There is no way the Ku Klux Klan can keep people down as well as Reverend Sharpton and Reverend Jackson are doing. The Ku Klux Klan, we talked about the Klan on our show the other night as well. They are actually pretty much out of business. There is nothing for them to do. Their job has been usurped by the Democrat Party and liberalism and all these social programs. Blacks are going nowhere. Every chance they had to advance while Republicans were in charge of their advancement and while blacks had put their faith in the Republican Party and were advancing, they gave up in 1965 when they latched their boats or latched their trailers to the Great Society. And ever since then, their star has been setting. Blacks are the only population group in the United States that is not keeping pace percentage-wise with other population groups. Why? Planned Parenthood is slaughtering blacks at a greater rate than any other group in the abortion mills that are set where? In the inner cities. There is nothing the Klan could have done or dreamed up that would be nearly as effective as what is going on right now.
In fact, I think the new name of the Ku Klux Klan is the official cheerleading squad for the liberal Democrats. Now, we have an election. You can just picture them in short skirts and whatever. But we have an election coming up, in case no one knows. It's going to be in the next 35, 36 days, whatever it is. And we've been fed all kinds of polling data. Now, I have some thoughts, but I'm going to start with Chief Steve. Chief, what have you noticed? What have you seen? What have you felt? What have you sensed from the polling data that's been foisted upon us?
Well, the polling data is skewed. That's very obvious. And so most of the polling companies are using, first of all, they can fix the question any way they want to get the response that they want, but they can also pick the recipients any way they want. And they've been gathering many, many more Democrat recipients than they have Republicans. Also, you know, now there's a big split, too, between Democrats, Republicans, and the Tea Partiers who don't claim to be part of any party. There's a big group of those out there, too, that they don't fit those right into those questionnaires. So I believe that the polls are much more in Romney's favor than what the news media is saying, and they're just lying. They can't stand the fact that Romney could actually be ahead in these polls.
Well, I would go further and tell you that we just saw CNN and some of the other major leftist mainstream organizations saying, well, can you believe it? Over the weekend, the polls have tightened. Now, in order to get the polls tight, where Obama's ahead in the margin of error, they have to ask Democrats and under-ask Republicans, because if they were to take what happened in 2010, where Republicans actually outvoted Democrats. I don't remember what it was. Maybe you do, Greg. I think it was +3 or +4. But they're taking +7, +8, +9, +10, +11, +15 Democrats. In some cases, they're taking very few independents, and even they're admitting that Romney's winning the independents. So you tell me, we have more registered Republicans than registered Democrats in the United States. If Romney's winning the independents, how does it add up math-wise, Greg?
Well, there are a number of problems with the polls. First of all, Republicans and independents are less likely to answer the phone for a pollster than are Democrats, one. Two, an increasing number of people are giving up the landlines for the cell phones. This makes it more difficult because cell phones have to be manually dialed. By telephone dialing rules, they cannot be electronically dialed or auto-dialed, so they have to be manually dialed. This reduces the number of people who are being polled who have cell phones as their primary phone. Third of all, Stan, you're absolutely right. They are using 2008 turnout models for this election, and there's no such level of excitement for the first black president. He's already been in there, and he is not creating the same level of excitement. All you have to do is drive through the same neighborhoods that used to be full of Obama signs and drive down the roads that used to be full of Obama bumper stickers. I haven't seen an Obama bumper sticker except on an out-of-state plate in months. And there are no Obama signs anywhere to be seen. And there's one Obama billboard in town, and it's in the poorest neighborhood in town, which is probably going to have a suppressed turnout. So they're putting +10 Democrats on these polls. They're suppressing Republican turnout, which right now the polls are saying that if you take the party identification, it is evenly split in terms of equal amounts of Republicans and Democrats, and yet they're saying that they still think that 10 more Democrats are going to turn out for than the Republicans, and they are not, as you said, polling the independents, which are very often right-leaning, but often identify themselves as independents because they don't want to be smeared with the conservative label because it has been so besmirched in the public media. So I don't think Obama is ahead at all. I look at his antics, I look at the tactics that's being used by his campaign, and I watch his micro expressions. I'm big, and Chief Steve, you have done some interrogations. If you look at Obama's face when he's talking, that is a man who is not winning.
Well, let's go to the chief. And if you were cross-examining Barack Obama, would you assume him to be guilty, know him to be guilty, or just go directly to the execution stage?
Well, one thing you do, you go on past practice, and I know that they're planning on cheating. That's how they expect to win this election. And so that they're down in the polls, but what they've done before is they cheat, they lie, and they get their way that way. So I'm looking at Barack Obama. I believe he's a smirky because he believes they're going to cheat their way through to a win.
Well, they didn't do it very well in 2010, and he was pretty smirky before that election. And afterwards, I had to admit that his party was shellacked. Of course, he didn't take any blame for that himself. He said it was everything but him. I think the man is an egotistical narcissist who every day kisses the mirror more than once and congratulates the mirror on having such a great reflection. I don't think the man is sane, personally. That's just a personal opinion. Now, most people, and the key is a poll was taken by the Daily Kos and SEIU. Now that's Left, Lefter, and Lenin. And in their poll, 42% of the people thought that the polls were skewed to favor Obama. What does that say?
Even they know they're cheating. Even the cheaters know they're cheating.
Greg?
What's to add to that?
Well, the fact is that I think that even liberals, some of them, don't like to be embarrassed. And I think that we are seeing some of them saying, good grief, now you're not subtle, you're the opposite. You're wearing a sandwich board, bragging about doing cheating and skewing, and you're being made to look foolish, and they don't like that, being made to look foolish. But speaking of foolish, requests for military ballots are down 90+%. Now, Greg, you're ex-military, although always a Marine. Do you see what I see in that they're just egregiously and aggressively trying to eliminate the possibility of the military voting against Obama?
There's no question that is their goal. They're definitely trying to eliminate the military vote. In fact, the Inspector General charged with enforcing the 2009 Voting Act that was supposed to bring military votes in tried to contact the voting assistance offices at bases and found 50% of them did not have valid contact information. Of course, that was then passed off as, oh, we just didn't give you an updated list. Well, if the Inspector General charged with verifying that every base has a voting assistance office can't even find that voting assistance office, how are these Marines, sailors, airmen, and soldiers going to find that voting assistance office? This is absolutely ridiculous. Last night on Twitter, we, along with a number of other people, were putting out different links the military could go to register and get their assistance online. But still, there is no question there is a concerted attempt to disenfranchise those that we count on for our freedom. And I sum it up this way. Those that would trade their lives for our liberty cannot vote, while those who would trade their phones for a vote can. And that is just sickening in America.
The Tea Party, which the media has done their best to say no longer exists, is no longer active, is no longer potent, is no longer impactful. According to calculations, and this was put out by Breitbart, who's certainly a rightist organization, Tea Partiers represent a voting bloc of 41 million votes. Now, last time I looked, 41 million votes would take you 2/3 of the way to winning a presidential election. I think Obama the last time got around 60 some odd million votes, 61, something like that. If there are that many Tea Partiers are going to vote, Barack Obama cannot win. Would you agree, Chief?
Well, the president's not elected by popular vote. It's an electoral college vote, so the total numbers may not make the total answer. But what got me from this story was it reminded me of a phrase we used to say all the time, which was called the silent majority. And I think a lot of us took pride in knowing that even though we didn't say much, we got the job done. But I believe those days are gone, and there can no longer be a silent majority. We've got to be a vocal majority and constantly tell our message, show our message, and make sure that our representatives complete our message.
I know of two people, this is Stan Solomon, I know of two people who absolutely, unquestionably, and proudly voted for Barack Obama in 2008, who have said publicly, not just to me, but to everyone, they are not going to vote for Barack Obama in 2012. I'm one of those 41 million. If half of those 41 million can affect one or two people, it's over. Greg?
I agree with Steve. There is no silent majority anymore. The people have had enough. The anger at the media, the anger at the government is palpable. People are chomping at the bit. Chick-fil-A Day was just a dry run for November the 6th. They are going to turn out in droves. The polling places had better have plenty of ballots on hand. They better print extras, because I suspect there is going to be a turnout rush that is going to overwhelm the poll workers. 41 million people turning out. Yes, a lot of that may be in already red states, but it is going to be a huge number turning out to the polls. And Stan, like you, I know a number of people who said they voted for Obama in 2008 that will not. Among my Twitter following, I know hundreds that have said they cannot do it again. They got caught up in the excitement of the first black president. They fell for the hope and change lie. They had Bush fatigue. There were a number of reasons they voted for Obama. They didn't pay attention to the media, but they are paying attention now, or they've woken up from their dose of hopium, and they're not going to vote for Obama again.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment. This is Talk to Solomon. Do you have a cell phone? I do. In fact, everyone I know does. There's only one problem with cell phones. They're too damn high. You remember that guy. With me is Ted Williams, one of America's experts on cell phones, and a guy who's been responsible, along with his company, for hundreds of thousands of people saving money on cell phones. Ted, thank you for joining us. Talk to us.
Well, I tell you, Stan, right now, every dollar a person can save is a dollar earned. I'm telling you, in this economy, the price of gas and the unsure situation with employment, our business is tailor-made, and our cell phone packages are tailor-made to help everyone out.
All right, let's state a few facts. Unlimited service isn't unlimited service anymore, right or wrong?
It's right for a lot of the big carriers that you're familiar with, but our company has got truly unlimited talk, text, and web. We don't slow speeds down. We don't charge you after 1 or 2 gigabytes. It's truly unlimited, running on a nationwide network with roaming options if people want it.
And to get unlimited service, which many people use today in their business, you're going to spend $120, $130, $140. How do you compare?
We've got plans that start at $20 with rollover minutes, and our truly unlimited talk, text, and web plan is $59 a month. Again, no limits on the data, and the exciting thing is you can earn, as a customer, you can earn free service by simply referring a few customers to us. That earns you free service potentially for the rest of your life.
Now, let me make sure I'm hearing this correctly. Without paying money, without being in the business, simply if you're a customer, at whatever the customer costs are, and I assume there are no deposits or that type of thing, that if you refer a few friends and they get service, you can earn free service for yourself?
Absolutely. It's, as you said, no contract, no deposit, no credit check. And we have many payment options. They can be auto-billed, auto-debited, phone in and make your payment over the phone, or, you know, a lot of options on how to pay the bill. But truly unlimited talk, text, and web available to you for $59 a month, and if you refer a few friends, totally free.
Now, 2 other questions. You said roaming is an option. How much does it cost?
If you have unlimited nationwide roaming, it would be an additional $20 if you
So
if
you're,
you need
you're
it.
still
But-
only $79.
Correct. But you may not need it because we are on the nationwide network.
Okay. And the second thing is, do you only have dial-up phones that you have to carry in a suitcase, or do you actually have the latest and greatest Droid phones?
We have Android phones are the hottest selling items right now on our site, but we also cater to those people that all they have a need for is a simple flip phone. So you can go from, you know, from the top of the line phone to a free phone.
And are you competitive on those prices?
Absolutely. The phones, most people don't realize this, but the phone prices you hear on television are tied into contracts. We don't have a contract. So our phone, you buy it, you own it, and you pay the real price. The way you can find out how competitive it is simply ask any of those big 3 or 4 companies, what is the price of the phone if I don't have to sign a contract. And they'll tell you many of those Android phones are $400.
There you go. All right, folks, you can get more information by dialing 1-800-299-8362, or just go to cpnlive.com and click on the icon that says Get Free Phone Service. Free. Free. I can afford free. Can you?
Free is good.
Thanks.